In this video, I'm going to break it down in 3 simple steps how you can have the best year you've ever had with your money. You see, the problem isn't that you don't have all the information. The problem is actually that you have more information than you know what to do with. And in today's video, I'm going to break it down into 3 simple steps that anybody can use to make sure that you maximize your money in 2026. Hey everyone, if we haven't met before, my name is Jacob Turner. I'm a former Major League Baseball player and co-founder of Moment Private Wealth, a financial planning firm that specifically helps athletes and entrepreneurs. Now, before you leave, this video is for everybody, whether you're an athlete, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're just starting out, whether you're way down the road in your financial journey. I'm going to show you today 3 easy steps that anybody can do, and you will thank me later. I can tell you, if you follow these 3 steps, you're going to have more clarity, you're going to have more confidence, and you're going to have a clear understanding of what you need to do this year to maximize your money. So let's dive in. Step 1 is to ignore the noise. Here's the 3 things you need to understand. You need to understand what you're making, you need to understand what you're spending, and you need to understand where it's going. So what I'm going to show you right here is something that we call a cash, tax, and savings plan. And anybody can do this. You have calculators, you have AI, you can put in your information and you can create one of these for yourselves. But what you need to first understand is, where is your money coming from? So if you're a W-2 employee, how much money are you making? If you're a business owner like I have here, how much are you making in salary and how much are you going to make in company distributions? Is there any other income that's coming in? Maybe rental properties or side hustles that you have. Put all that information into here. The second thing you're going to need to understand is, what is your tax rate? Now, you can go to Google, you can look up tax rates, or you can watch a video that I did on understanding your tax brackets. Either way, you need to understand what you're going to owe in taxes. That's the first step. That's the first money that's going to come out. The second money that's going to come out is, what are you spending? As I've talked about in a lot of these videos, if you do not know what you're spending, and even if you just have a ballpark idea of it, you need to get clear about this, because a lot of good planning comes back to what we're spending in the first place. I use Monarch Money. I don't get paid for using it. It's a great tool. It's 99 bucks. If you want to use it, I would highly recommend checking it out. Okay, so we need to understand what we're making, what's going towards taxes, and what we're spending. That's step 1. If you can do that, you've accomplished step 1. There's only 3 steps in this process. So let's talk about step 2. In step 2, we're going to take exactly what we learned in step 1, and we are going to create an order of operations. You see, where a lot of people go wrong is they skip over this part and they immediately start thinking about investing. My goal with this page and everything that I write about, everything that I produce videos about, is to help you get smarter with your money. So before we go any further, if you're into that sort of thing and you want to get smarter with your money in 2026, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Now, back to the point we're making here. You do not want to take step 1 and immediately go invest the money. That is the number 1 mistake I see people make. And then what will happen is, and the problem with this is, you're going to get to the end of the year and you're going to say, I had no structure, I had no direction, I have all these different investments, but I'm not even sure if they're in the right place. You see, before we even determine what we're going to invest in, we have to build an order of operations. So what is an order of operations? Well, to better articulate this point, I'm going to show you my exact order of operations for my own money. An order of operations is simply this: the money that we have left over, after we understand what our income is, what we're paying in taxes, and what we're spending, what do we have left over? Well, what accounts, not investments, what accounts should that money go into first? So my order of operations personally is this. Step 1 is, I'm going to contribute to my company 401k through Moment. And the reason why I'm going to do this is, I'm only going to do it up to the company match. We match 3% of contributions. That is free money. If I don't make that contribution, I'm not getting that 3%. So that's my step 1. I'm going to contribute to that account. Step 2 is, I'm going to contribute to my health savings account. That's an HSA. Because I am on a high deductible healthcare plan, I'm going to contribute to this account. Now you can see I can contribute a little over $8,500 for 2026. This is because I'm on a family plan. You need to make sure you understand what you're potentially on. The reason why I contribute to this account next is, it's the only account with a triple tax benefit. When I put the money in, I'm getting a tax deduction. The money grows tax-free, and if I take it out for any sort of qualified medical expense in the future, it comes out tax-free. The third account I'm going to contribute to is a Roth IRA. In 2026, I can contribute $7,500 to my Roth IRA. I can also contribute $7,500 for my wife. So we're going to maximize this account. We are going to be doing this through a backdoor Roth IRA strategy. And the reason why is, we're going to make too much money to be able to contribute directly to a Roth IRA. As I think about all these things, and as I walk through this order of operations, one thing that I want to make sure that you understand, this needs to be specific for you, and you need to understand why you are contributing to the accounts that you're contributing to. As you hear me talk about these accounts, you hear me also mention why I'm contributing to these accounts and why I'm contributing one over the other first. You need to understand that for you, and I would highly recommend writing it down. If you don't write it down, what's going to happen is you're going to be in May, June, July of this year, and some new opportunity is going to come up. And you're not going to be able to revert back to this order of operations because you're not going to remember what it is. So you need to write it down for you and your situation. For me, number 4, I'm going to go back to my company contributions. I'm going to max out the remaining part of my 401k. For 2026, I can contribute $24,500 as an employee of Moment Private Wealth into the 401k plan. I'm going to go ahead and max out that. And then after that, what I'm going to contribute to is my taxable investments. What are taxable investments? These are any investment you make outside of retirement accounts. All the accounts I showed you previously, the 401k, the HSA, the Roth IRA, are all qualified accounts. So the IRS is giving me some sort of tax benefit for contributing to those. Now, the downside of that is there's going to be some sort of restriction on when I can take the money out or how I can take the money out. And I want to make sure that I have money set aside that's in taxable investment accounts where I can always pull from the money if I need to. So these are things like the stock market, these are things like private investments, and these are things like real estate. So remember, we talked about step 1. We have to understand what we're making, what's going towards taxes, and what we're spending. Step 2 is we have to create our order of operations. And then step 3 is we need to determine what our investment philosophy is. And instead of thinking about this in some super complex manner in terms of the exact positions that you need to contribute to, I need you to think about it from a very big picture standpoint. We're going to start from 30,000 feet. And what I need you to understand is how much risk are you willing to take? So here's the question that I want you to ask yourself. If the market dropped 10% tomorrow and you had X amount of dollars in, put your actual dollar amount is, times it by 10%, could you stick with that plan? Let's use $1 million, drops by 10%. That's $100,000 that your portfolio is down. Would you stick with your plan? Okay. If the market dropped 20% tomorrow, $200,000 in your $1 million investment, would you stick with the plan? Okay. If the market dropped 30% tomorrow, you're down $300,000 in your $1 million investment. Would you stick with the plan? See, that is the first question that you should ask yourself. You see, we've been living in this crazy bull market for the past decade. And outside of a quick blip on the radar with COVID, we really haven't seen market downturns. And one of the things that I always preach to our clients, I think you need to understand as well, is you have to be able to stick with the plan. So step 3 is you need to determine what your asset allocation is. How much you want to have in defensive assets and how much you want to have in growth assets. And the way that you are going to determine this is by, are you able to stick with the plan? You need to ask yourself, if the market drops by X percentage, and you need to put it in real dollar terms for you, in terms of what your portfolio is, would you stick with the plan? Could you keep doing your same things you want to do in your lifestyle? Only then can you then determine what you're going to invest in. Now remember, at the beginning of this video, I talked about information overload. With ChatGPT and AI and Google and everything that's out there, there is so much information out there. And ultimately, we got to go back to the basics. These 3 steps, understanding what you're spending, what you're saving, understanding what your order of operations is, and understanding how much risk you are willing to take, understanding are you able to stick with the plan, are the 3 things that if you do it in 2026, you are going to have more clarity, you are going to have more confidence, and you're going to have a better understanding of what your money's doing. Because I'm telling you right now, if you're watching this video, I know you want to get smarter with your money. You can subscribe to this channel, that'll help you. You can watch a lot of videos on this channel, that'll help you. But the reality is you need to have something written down because the years are going to go by fast. The months are going to come up before we know it. April's going to be here before we know it. June's going to be here. Pretty soon it's going to be Christmas time next year. And you're going to be thinking, did I actually make progress in my financial life? And I can tell you, if you do these 3 steps, you're going to have an incredible, incredible starting point. As always, my goal with this channel is to help you get smarter with your money. So if you're into that sort of thing, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Until next time, my friends.